Okay, let's start. Morning to everyone. We will discuss the net change theorem and continuous income stream, which is actually just part of the applications of the net change theorem, although the syllabus two were divided to two different modules. Net change theorem, okay, module two, continuous income stream, module three. Okay, can you, okay, please make sure that the microphones are muted. Okay, so we are recorded, so you can also view the lecture later, but of course, attendance will be checked by the BDEL. The BDEL is here. RC, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Right, please take note of the attendance, beginning, middle, and end of class. So you are only allowed like 5 cuts, right? So please take note of that. Thank you very much. So net change theorem, this is an application of the fundamental theorem of calculus. And the theorem states that the integral of the derivative is the antiderivative, or stated in terms of numerical values, the integral of a rate of change yields the net change of the quantity. We have this formula discussed in class, although it is just rewritten a little differently, but actually it follows from the fundamental theorem of calculus, which states that the definite integral of a function is obtained by integrating or finding an antiderivative of the function and substituting the limits a and b, where here again f is an antiderivative, meaning the derivative of capital F is small f. So if we try to replace a small f there with this relation, we have an equivalent formulation of the fundamental theorem of calculus. Okay, it states that the integral of capital F prime with respect to x is equal to this one here, which is just obtained by substituting the upper limit, then substituting the lower limit, and then getting the difference or change. So what we have here is an equation relating the derivative, okay, here, with the net change, okay? F of B minus F of A is the total change in the function's value, capital F, from A to B. If its original input is A and you change the input to B, then the output will change by this amount, F of B minus F of A. In other words, the integral of a rate of change equals the net change. We have it here. There. On the left-hand side of that equation, you have the integral of the derivative. Remember, the derivative is rate of change. So the left-hand side is the integral of the rate of change. The right-hand side is the net change because it's the difference between the values of the function from A to B or over A, B. So right-hand side is net change, left-hand side is a rate of change
Sir,
integrated. Yes.
we can't see the board, but we can't see what you're writing.
Yes, because I moved it a while ago. I'm not writing anything right now.
Okay. My pa.
Okay. I needed to make the other screen bigger for you to see. But when I need to, I will adjust the other up there. So we have here, okay, the integral of the rate of change. This is rate of change. This is integrating the rate of change. This is net change. So we can write it in words. The integral of a rate of change equals the net change. Okay. So you may want to mentally note that the integral of a rate of change equals the net change. So we will look at some uh, applications of the net change theorem. By the way, this is called the net change theorem or total change theorem sometimes in some fields like economics, where we will interpret the integral of a marginal rate to be the net change in the corresponding financial variable like cost, revenue, profit, or in other fields, okay, like statistics or biology and others, to be the net change in the population, okay, which can be obtained by integrating the rate of change of the growth or the growth rate, okay? So integrating a marginal rate, okay, yields the net change. Again, follows from this one here, okay, this one here, that the integral of the derivative, again, the derivative is the rate of change. The integral of a rate of change yields net change. So the integral of marginal, which is the derivative, remember, marginal cost is the derivative of the cost, marginal revenue, the derivative of the revenue. So the integral of the marginal equals the net change. In particular, if we're talking about, say, profit, the integral of the marginal profit is the net profit. The integral of the marginal cost is the net cost or total cost. The integral of the marginal revenue equals the net revenue or total revenue. In terms of population growth, the integral of the growth rate is the increase or the net change in population, the increase or the decrease in population size. So let's have that first application on business and economics, where we were taught in Calculus 1 how to get the derivative of those variables I mentioned, like cost, revenue, and profit. So when you differentiate, remember, when you differentiate the cost, which is the derivative of the cost, this one is called in economics the marginal cost, right? So it's just another word for derivative. Instead of using the word derivative in economics, the subject uses the term marginal. So with the other variables, derivative of revenue is marginal revenue, which is r prime of x in our symbols, using our notation for derivative. The derivative of the profit function is the marginal profit function. And the marginal measures the rate of change. So if we apply the fundamental theorem of calculus, again, we get the fact that the integral of the marginal, uh, say, profit is the net profit. Okay, let's have those shown here. So we have first for cost, the net cost or the total cost, the change in the cost. Okay, let's say I am producing currently say 100 units of the product and I'm thinking of increasing production to 150 units. So the question is, how much cost will be added on top of the cost I am spending now on producing the original quantity of 100 units, right? If I am producing 100 units now, and then after, say, several months of operation, I am planning to, say, increase the production to 150 units. So the question is, I'm now spending several money, okay, or say in pesos, in producing 100 units. So how much will be added on top of that if I am going to add 50 units more? So production will be 150. So I want the increase in cost or the net change in the cost or simply just the net cost. So what will the net cost be? Simply using just plain algebra, I just have to calculate the number or the amount that I have to spend in order to manufacture or produce those 150 units. And then I subtract the original cost I am spending for 100 units. Now, the fundamental theorem allows us to calculate the net cost if we know the marginal, given here on the left side of the screen, that the integral of the marginal cost is the net cost, okay? The change in the cost. Similarly, just changing the variable or quantity to revenue and profit, we have, by the fundamental theorem, the integral of the marginal revenue equal to the net revenue, the total revenue change or the change in revenue simply. Also, the integral of the marginal profit equals the net profit. Okay? So these are mere reformulations of the fundamental theorem applied to specific economic variables or quantities. Let's just illustrate. So here, let me read. A local automotive supplier manufactures cargo trunk trays. The marginal cost of producing X trays, so X is the variable that tells us the number of units that will be produced. In this case, the number of trays. And suppose we know this fact that the marginal cost is modeled by this linear function here, given as C prime of X equals 0.5X plus 300, where again, X is the number of trays. Cost is in Philippine peso, so in peso. So marginal cost will be in peso per tray, PHP per tray. So let's find the net change. In the manufacturing cost, if the production run is increased from 100 to 200. So let's say currently the business is manufacturing 100. Now they are thinking of doubling, okay, that number. What will be the additional cost what will be the net change. Okay, that's the keyword always, the net change in the cost. So let's use the fundamental theorem to formulate the equation that will give us the net change. So by the net change theorem, okay, we have the net change in the cost, the net cost, which is this one, right? From 100 to 200, that is over the entire or the interval 100 to 200, we have the net cost given by this. You just subtract the cost of producing 200 and the cost of producing 100. But we don't have any data for those. We only have data for the marginal cost. Let's say by some statistical method, the company was able to model the marginal cost, okay, as given by this linear function. So how do we utilize it to calculate the net cost when we increase production from 100 trays to 200 trays? So it will be the integral of the marginal or the integral of the derivative. Okay? So again, the net change equals the integral of the derivative or the rate of change. Just the derivative. This one is the integral or the antiderivative. But anyway, we'll write this in terms of the economic variable in consideration, which is cost. So we have net cost equals the integral of the marginal cost. And that's it. You just have to use this relationship but to formulate the equation that gives the net cost. So the net cost, again, is given by C of 200 minus C of 100. So that's the integral from 100 to 200 of the derivative. The derivative is given. Okay? Or the marginal is given. So you just have to put the derivative in there, inside the integral sign. And that's it. You have properly set up the uh, net cost as given by the fundamental theorem of calculus, and the rest will be just calculus, right? The routine method of evaluating a definite integral, which we will show here. So what do? You integrate or get an antiderivative of the integrand. You integrate this. You use the power formula. So if you integrate term by term, you integrate x, right? The integral of x is x squared over 2. And there's a 0.5. So when you divide by 2, you have a 0.25. Remember also that the integral of a constant is kx. So the integral of 300 is 300x. And then you put in the limits of integration, the 100 and the 200. And then remember, you just substitute the upper limit first, then the lower limit. I'll show you the calculations though. So you substitute the upper limit, okay? You can just check the calculations later. The more important thing here is the setup. but you will get 70,000. Okay, and then you plug in the lower limit into the formula, you'll get 32,500. Again, back to this one here. Okay, you substitute 200, substitute 100 into this function, and you'll get those calculations. Okay, and you take the difference to get the net change. So if you subtract the upper limit value, okay, the lower limit value, you'll get 37,500 as the difference. That's the net cost in PHP, Philippine peso. The total manufacturing cost thus will increase. This is not the total cost, by the way. This is the net cost, meaning it's the increase or the decrease in the cost, but it's positive, right? So cost, of course, will increase if you increase production. That's common sense. And by how much? Okay, let's say I'm spending some amount now to manufacture 100 and I want to manufacture 200. I will have to add to my budget 37,500 pesos when production increases from 100 to 200 grades. In other words, it's as simple as integrating the derivative really. So bibigyan ka ng derivative and then integrate mo lang yung derivative. So sa economics, marginal. Who has a question? Okay, so here's just the geometric interpretation of the fundamental theorem of calculus, which relates the derivative. You see here in the figure, the derivatives graph. Here's the derivative, right? Here's the marginal cost. It's a line, it's a linear function. So here is its graph. That's the rate of change. That's the derivative. That's the marginal cost. But the area under the marginal cost or the derivative is the net cost, the net change, the integral. So here's the derivative. Remember, derivative is about tangents, but here's the integral. And remember, integral is about areas. So that's how the two are related. The net change is the area. The derivative is the graph, the curve or the line. So if you want to get, okay, I know how fast the cost is changing using this graph. I want to get the total change in the cost. I just have to look below. I just calculate the area here. Okay, that's all you have to know regarding the geometric interpretation because you won't really be asked to graph. So any question before we go to the next application? So that's for business. But let's also have an application on biology, which type of questions may also come out in the midterms because it's still about net change. So we do not restrict our application on net change to just economics or business. Okay, you could be given any problem which is about net change. It could be like in chemistry, so you will be given, say, the quantity, the amount of this substance. So what's the change in the amount of the substance? It could be anything on any field, any topic. So let's have one on population growth, biology, ecology. So suppose that we know how fast a population is growing or say shrinking. There's some, let's say, virus that is introduced, okay, into the system, or say some pest that is introduced into the population. So the pest will destroy the population. So how fast is the population shrinking or decreasing? Suppose you know that. That is the rate growth, the growth rate, the rate of growth. And being a rate, it's the derivative. Say we represent by n. Okay, n here is the population. So the derivative is the rate of change of population. So that's the growth rate. And if we know the growth rate, the derivative, we can get the integral, which is the net change or the change in the population. Let's see. Oh, there, just reformulated in terms of the new variable now. So again, here we have the derivative. The integral of the derivative equals the difference, or the integral of the rate of change equals the net change. Net change theorem. So there, interpreted. Gives us the increase or decrease in the population size over the time interval T1 and T2. Okay, T is time, by the way. So let's say at the beginning of time, this is the population. Then the other, we want to know the change in the population after some other time, say T sub 2, then here's the population at the end of time T sub 2. So we have here the net change in the population. And it can be calculated using the integral of the derivative. Let's have this example. A bacterial culture in a laboratory bioreactor is growing at a rate modeled by n prime of t equals negative 3t squared plus 60t plus 500, where t is measured in hours and n prime of t is measured in bacteria per hour. Find the net increase in the bacterial population during the first 10 hours of the observation. When you say first 10 hours, that's from 0 to 10, right? So at the beginning, you have some population given by n sub 0. And then after 10 hours, the population will be given by n at 10 or of 10. So what's the net change? It's just n of 10 minus n of 0, right? But we can't calculate this directly because we don't have a formula for population. But we have the derivative, the rate of change. We can use it to calculate the same. So what we do is integrate the derivative. Here's the derivative. Okay, n prime of t. And we integrate it from 0 to 10 because you are told, okay, in the problem, you are asked for the increase during the first 10 hours. So 0 to 10. That's why we have the limits there, 0 to 10. Here's the derivative. So you get the net change theorem. And then the rest is the same, routine, okay? You integrate, find an antiderivative of this one. You integrate it term by term. The integral of t squared is t cubed over 3. So you have the negative t cubed there. The integral of t is t squared over 2. So the 60 becomes 30. And then the integral of 500 is 500t. And to make the long computation short, I'll just show you. You can just review this later. Those are the values at the upper and lower limits. So 7,000 and 0, actually just 0. Everything zeroes out. So the net change is this, 7,000 bacteria. This is not the population, okay? At the end of 10 hours, this is the change in population. In other words, you have a certain number of bacteria right now. And then after 10 hours, that will increase by 7,000. That's why we use the word net or change, okay? Net change. We are not getting the actual population, just the change in the population. Any question? Anyone? that you understood you and you are there on your screens listening. But of course, I seldom use synchronous online, but perhaps I need this to also to have a lecture video at least on this topic for next semester's use if ever. But here's a seat work which you are not to do right now. I just want you to take note of it. Well, anyway, you can check it again when you receive the uh, link to the recording. And there you are also told what to do and as well as the actual solutions to the problem. Okay? So do it first and then you consult the video for the answers, the solutions. Is there a question before we continue to the next example on net chain? Last example though. Then that's it for this session. Question. Actually, this one is on net change, but it is under module 3. So you might think that this one is a different application really, but it still follows the still uses the principle of the fundamental theorem of calculus. So what is continuous income stream? So income stream or income is usually given monthly by semi-monthly, right? Or sometimes some companies give salary or income weekly or sometimes daily, as in some manual labor. But let's say that income is being given continuously, right? So let's say you're earning, a certain individual is earning, say, 12,000 a month. So instead of being given the 12,000 monthly, let's say this is given uh, semi-monthly, quincenas katapusan, di ba? Every 15, 30. So the rate of income flow is said to be 6,000 per, let's say, 2 weeks. Or let's say the company decides to give it uh, 4 times a month. So that would mean the income flow for the individual would be 3,000 per week. Or let's say this is daily. So just approximating, right? You divide 3,000 by 700, that's the daily rate. But let's idealize this to, let's say, or make this even smaller to the uh, uh, frequency the, of the income distribution. Let's say it's given secondly or every second. This is the flow, right? What about every millisecond? This is the income flow. But what if it's continuously being given, right? Does it have any uh, sense to that? Well, of course, literally, no, but mathematically, yes. So what if income stream is continuous? How do we calculate the change, okay, in the income? So we have the income rate function, which gives us the rate of flow. Let's say this is the income flow, meaning when you say flow, the rate, okay, like as in water flowing, it could be flowing, let's say, if there's a big pressure, right, very fast, or if the pressure is too low, right, the flow would be too slow. So it's the rate, okay? So if income is given by I in time, okay, in terms of time, then the derivative this is the rate. But sometimes we use the symbol capital R to denote the income flow or the rate of change of income, the derivative of income. And suppose that we want to find the total change in the income, the total amount of money generated over a period. Let's say starting from year A or time A to time B or year B. Of course, here in this specific application, we do not consider any interest rates. It's just the income being received without being deposited elsewhere or invested elsewhere. So how do we get the total income generated, not the actual income? Okay. So the total income, meaning the increase in income. So let's say I have received all the income that I should have received uh, today. Now, after 100 days, how much will be the added income, okay, that I will be receiving at the end of those 100 days? That's the total income, not the actual income, okay? It means net income or uh, net change in the income or the change in the income. But we sometimes just use the word total income, not to be interpreted as income itself. How do you get total income? We have the integral of the income flow. The income flow is the derivative. So on the right-hand side here, we have the integral of the derivative or the integral of the rate of change. Yes, sorry for that. So we have the net change, the net income, the total income equal to the integral of the rate of change of the income, or again, the income flow. This follows from the net change theorem or the fundamental theorem of calculus more generally. So again, here we have the geometric interpretation of the relationship there, the formula there. So here we have the curve which represents the income flow. The area below it is the total income from A to B. So let's just have the example. A cloud software company generates a steady, continuous revenue stream. That's the keyword there, stream or rate. Those are the keywords. So here's the rate. This is not the income. This is the rate of income flow, or the rate of income, sorry, or the income flow. So it's 1,200,000 fixed per year. Find the total accumulated income generated over the next 5 years. Now, this is very simple as to the calculation that you need not use integration really, but anyway, we will still use the net change theorem to illustrate, okay, the relationship between income flow and net income. So we have the rate of income flow, but it is constant. So here's the function. Rate of income, income flow equals 1,200,000 R of T. And we are asked to find the total income generated over the next 5 years. So you integrate from 0 to 500. If this is, if you have a present income, you want to know the increase in your income of for the next 5 years, then you integrate the rate of change from 0 to 5. And here the derivative is put. It's just a constant derivative though. And that's it. You integrate the derivative, you put the proper limits, Okay, the integral of a constant, you just add the variable, right? Multiply by the variable. So you plug in 5 there, then you plug in 0. Okay, you plug in 5, then you plug in 0. When you plug in 5, 6 million. When you plug in 0, 0. So note that the final calculation gives us the net income, the increase in income. 6 million will be the income added to the individual for the end of the next 5 years. So that's for a continuous, or sorry, constant income stream. Now, of course, it's not always the case, but it's very obvious, right? It's 1,200,000 per year. So if there's 5 years and it's constant, right? All you have to do is really multiply by 5. Correct? You don't need calculus for this. But what if income flow is variable? Then you can't use ordinary algebra or arithmetic to solve this problem. Let's have the second one. A new network of automated vending machines produces an income stream that grows over time as more machines are installed. The income rate is capital R of T equals 300,000 plus 20,000 T, PHP per year, peso per year. Find the total income, that's net income, accumulated during the first 3 years. So 0 to 3, right? First 3 years. Those will be the limits of your integration. So you integrate the derivative, okay, 0 to 3. That's it. You're given the derivative, the rate. And the rest is routine. Okay? The details are provided below. And then you calculate, okay, these are the calculations for the upper and lower limits. You will get 990,000. Okay? So, okay, pray for that. All you have to do is integrate the derivative and calculate it. That's it. When you calculate this, it gives you the 990,000. So again, net change, just to recap, to get that total change or net change, other word, net change. This one is just the integral of the rate of change. That's the net change theorem. Net change equals integral of rate of change. Any question before we end? Those are the calculations again. Total accumulated income over the first 3 years. Again, hindi ito yung actual na kinita niya. Ito yung nadagdag sa kinita niya, sa sinuweldo niya, 990. Okay, again, the geometric interpretation provided seat work. This will now be homework. So you can do it later. You just integrate this 0, 2 to 4 note. Calculations are provided, solution. Okay. You want to take screenshot later when you receive the link to the video. That's it. Before I end the meeting, is there any question? Yes. Okay, unmute. Mr. Lorenzo, do you have a question? Mr. Hizan?
Wala sir, sorry.
Naka-raise pa rin kayo mo sa your virtual hand. But anyway, there's no question, then that's it. I'll be ending the meeting now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.